Hey everybody, how's it going? Ryan over here with Cutler, also Santiago Galli on the call as well. Um, Both of us will be leading the meeting today. Hope everybody can see my screen on the right hand side with that says 2023 in numbers. The goal of this meeting is kind of make it quick, show a little bit of what has been our 2023, what our plan is, what our plan as a company is, and what 2024 has in store. And lastly, be able to show what the new features are and kind of walk through. Remember, you can always watch this recording on YouTube, and we will go a little bit more in depth with any future with any more of the features that come out. So 2023 was a good was a great year for Cattler. I'll just Ray Frank. Hey Ray, thanks for joining. So 2023, we made 20 different, more than 20 builds. What that means is improvements of features. So member requested features that we did throughout the year. That is basically about roughly 2 per month. We developed 2 whole new areas of Cattler, animal health and the shoot, being able to integrate that with a lot of different shoots and a lot of growth in those parts as well. Regarding new partnerships in the industry, what those were, both FBN, StockGuard, Countryside Feeds, Benko products, an array of them that really allowed us to grow as a company and be able to be in many more places and a lot of more ears and a lot of more farms. We were able to expand to 6 countries and over 13 states in the US. So the 6 countries are US, Canada, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Brazil. And we went from roughly 600 tons to at this point having surpassed the 2,000 tons of daily feed across multiple yards, and also grew significantly across with the total accounts that we have. So it was a very good year. It was a year of a lot of growth also. When it comes to our roadmap, we decided to go directly, first and foremost, start with the feed yards. And as you see in the darker green, we started with the feeding, which has the most iteration and the biggest amount of constant usage. So every day everybody feeds. Every day people make changes with their rations. They do their bunk scores. They have to move cattle. They have to sell. They have to. So that's what we started, and that's what we started in 2022 and improved throughout 2023. But what was also most important, and what we mentioned before, was the fact that we launched the animal health side and the shoot. So the animal health side, as you very well know, is the possibility of having individual cattle management in Cattler, being able to access it directly through your phone, being able to pull out an individual animal, being able to close out an individual animal, transfer individual animals. So being able to have that very important, not only lot treatment for the shoot, but then also being able to treat individual animals as well, as you well know. So, and then what is in progress for 2024 is everything that is much more on the admin side and CRM, but mostly also something that we will be launching in the April-May months will be everything regarding to the cow-calf and the stockers, something that is very important for everybody in the industry, and it has to do with everything regarding health, reproduction, and genetics, and being able to have your calf book, and being able to also integrate that into your calves and your pairs, and then all that throughout the feed yards and all the way down the packer. If we could look at the other side, we are also able to develop a certain amount of different partnerships when it comes to nutrition, animal health, and financial and insurance as well. What that means is on the financial and insurance side is the agreement with StockGuard and LRPs that we launched over the last couple of months, and several of our members have already started to use. Then when it comes to, let me enter for Dave Dvorak, and then when it comes to the nutrition side, the possibility of having alerts for basically for low stock alerts, but then also the possibility of creating different programs for feed companies to be able to track low inventory and be able to replenish those in time. So this has always been our roadmap. We've been very open about it. 2024 will be a year that we will continue to improve, as we always do, through member feedback and through open loop of communication with you guys that we are always looking forward to. And now, what does 2024 have in store? I'm not going to go through all of this, but ultimately it's going to have three very, very important buckets, which will be the cow-calf and rangeland features. On the one hand, everything regarding, how can we have the calving book, what genetic record keeping that we can have. And then with that also, the second bucket will be everything regarding administration. So grain bank, which will be launched at the end of January, being able to sync with different accounting systems. What that means is maybe QuickBooks, and then also being able to have different plannings for your feeding and your scheduling in order to have an automation for some bigger yards that are looking for this as well. And then when it comes to partnerships, one of the biggest partnerships that we have is going to be launched in the middle of January, which will be the Elanco benchmark. And we have already some of our members that are in line waiting for this to launch. We haven't officially launched it because we are waiting on the announcement that will be done probably mid-January, very, very soon. So I'm not going to go through all this, and we've already talked about this. You guys can look at it and then ask us questions as you may always want. But the idea behind this is to you guys have a sense of what is coming down the pipeline. And also Ignacio, the CEO, has recently joined the call. So in case he wants to give us 2 cents on what 2024 has in store, please feel free to chime in. But ultimately, this is kind of the 3 big pillars of what 2024 will have in store. And last part of this presentation will be going and digging deeper into the new features that we have just recently launched. I'm going to be showing them on my phone so you guys can see them as well. But one of the biggest ones that I won't be able to show right now will be the Elanco benchmark program, for reasons that I just mentioned. But I will start with showing the improvements in billing. So if I share this side again, one of the main aspects on the billing side has been that we've added the expenses. That we have added the oh no, 1 second. Okay. One of the main elements that we have added on here has been one of the main elements that we have improved on the billing side has been the expenses section on here, which has been the adding any kind of expenses that we have on the cattle management section. So any expense that you might have wanted to bill out before that was lumped in together now has its own segment on here, which allows for much more detailed for your clients as well if you do any custom feeding. So that was one of the newest features that we just launched. Go back in here. Expenses that we talked about, but ultimately I'm going to go back into the feeding section. And then if I continue on this, so I'm going to share my screen on my phone as well, which will be helpful. So yeah, helpful. I'm going to give me a second while I do this. one of the other elements that we changed was the edit alert on the feeding log. So as you all know, this this pencil that we have right here means that this notepad means that somebody has made a modification to the feeding log, so either the loads or the drops from the feeding log right here. But what this new pencil means is that it means that somebody has made a change on your on the black screen when you're feeding. So either on the load and drop pages, they have made a modification on those two screens. So this will allow you to differentiate exactly what kind of changes have been made. If it has been a change made on the feeding log, which is the page that we are on right here, or on the pencil, which would be on the black screen, which I will show you exactly how it's done in case you have any questions on that regard. So the other features that were recently launched were the next day delivery, load and drop execution. What that means is before you were able to plan ahead, but now not only can you plan ahead, but you can also execute those future orders as well. And that was very important. That was requested a lot by a lot of our members. Yep. So yeah, I don't have anybody in the waiting room. So that was one of the new ones. Mixer timing improvements. What this means, and I'll show you right now, is the fact that when you start your load and drop order, you can actually go into mixing and start your mixing timer right away if you want to, and then start loading, so that your mixing time maybe goes through the whole period that you're actually looking for. The connectivity with EID readers is something that Santiago worked heavily on over the last month, which was ultimately testing very thoroughly all of the true tests with all of the different readers that they have with the different scales that they have. So the EI6, the 7, the XR 5000, all of these on the true test aspect, together with the All Flex, which is in the already available. Lastly is the dark and white mode, which means that which is requested very heavily by one of our members, which is the possibility of changing your feeding screen from the dark mode to the white mode, which I will show right now. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen again, but now from my phone, so you guys can see this. Share my screen. Second. Excellent. So now you guys can see my screen. And the first of the features that we talked about was the next day load and drop execution. So what that means is you have your orders ready for the day. Not only, as we said before, can you plan ahead. I'm going to activate next day delivery. Not only can you plan ahead, but now you can also execute these orders right now. So I'm going to connect to my scale head that I have behind me, and there you go. I am able to go on and start loading as we go. I'll take this moment to also show this would be the dark screen option, and then this would be the white screen option as well. So this has been something that has been requested in order to give a lot of people the different and changes to the screen that you're looking at, depending on how much glare you might have. So as I said before, this would be the possibility of not only planning your next day delivery, but also executing your next day delivery. So now what I wanted to show right now was I'm going to execute the feeding, and I'm going to show you what the pencil would actually mean on the feeding log that we talked about before. So that would be the possibility of somebody clicking on the ingredient and manually making a change on here, basically. So this, making a change on this black screen would ultimately mean that they have manually made this change apart from what the mixer, what the Kettler box has recorded on it, basically. And this, I'll also take this opportunity to share what the mixing timer means, the optimization on the mixing timer improvement. So I'm able to start the mixing, but then I can also go back into the load and start loading all of my different ingredients if I wanted to. And as you'll see, I started it at minute number 2. And if I go back to mixing, it's continuously going down. If I will go in that, and then if I click back on the drop button, I can also start dropping, and there you go. And then I would be able to finish dropping, go back to orders list, and then there we go. All of these changes that I have just made will appear on the feeding log with the pencil, as we just talked about before. So those are, you know, several of the new features that we have recently launched. I'm going to stop mirroring my phone. And I'm going to share my screen again. Stop share. So those were several of the newest features that have just recently been launched. We have a full pipeline that is coming down the rabbit hole, as you well know. But if I go onto here, you guys, if I open up the feeding log, this order that this West order that we just did should have the Ryan.Brochu and then also a pencil next to it, which means that I have made the changes on it manually. There you go. There you go. As opposed to making changes on the feeding log. Having said that, there is only room for more questions. If anybody has any questions regarding any of the features or features that are coming down the pipeline, and lastly, any other questions regarding Kettler in itself. Just for reference, we will be participating in the NCBA event in Orlando. So anybody who will be there, we have our booth. So please feel free to stop by and reach out whenever you want. Any questions on the horizon?
I have a question, Ryan.
Yeah. Yep, Heather.
Hey, I was just curious. I think previously you guys mentioned that you would be adding under that load and drop screen where you have your list of ingredients to where it was almost like a default. That way, each time we change a load and drop, it doesn't change the order of the ingredients that we load, if that makes sense. Are you still going to do that?
Yeah, that's coming out. I believe what you're talking about is that the ration order that you have will always stay, basically, that you don't have to change. That order on the ration will be the order that you have in the load and drop. Is that correct? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let's say, for example, we feed protein, silage, then distillers. That way, each day we don't have to drag and drop if we adjust what pens are fed together.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's I believe in the following build that is something that is coming is next up on the line. That, yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. The other quick thing I was curious about would be on that, I believe it's on the load and drop screen when you click into, like, let's say your drop number 1. Within that you can put your pen order, right? Like if you're not feeding pens 1 through 5 in order of 1 through 5, maybe you're feeding pen 1, then 3, then 4, you know, for whatever reason, or how you have your pen set up. I noticed when you click back out and you're in that main load and drop screen, if you look at the list of the pens that you would be feeding on that particular screen, then it's not in order. I know that sounds so minute, but I didn't
No,
know
but
if that was something.
I
Yeah, like here, see how it says like B1 and so on and so forth. But if you click into it, it shows the correct order. I think my dad just said, I don't know, he always thinks that they're not in order, but then
I know what
when
you
he
mean.
clicks into it, they are.
Okay, that this specific order that you're seeing right here, if I was.
Yes.
This order does not reflect the order that is on the inside if you click on it, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And
Okay.
again, that's so minute. It's not a big deal. I think it may just be something he needs to get used to. I just didn't know if that was something, if you guys are looking for suggestions that
Yeah.
could be changed, or if it can't, that's fine too.
No, I mean, that's something quite easy to fix, and we thank you for bringing it to our attention. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Basically, this order grass M2, C10, and C15 is not what you're seeing here, basically. That's what you're saying.
Right. Yep. And then if you click back, maybe grass shows first. Yep, exactly. So,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
you're very welcome. I appreciate it. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? If not, I guess, it's time to wrap this up. You guys always know where to find us. We're always looking for feedback. Santiago, anything you would like to add, or Ignacio, if you're around?
Not from my end.
Excellent. All right. Well, I appreciate the time, everybody. Thank you for hopping on, and we will, you'll be able to find this on YouTube. All right. Thank you again very, very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.